Corey Holcomb, just ruined. Anton Daniels, marriage forever. Corey Holcomb, the comedian known for his fearless truth-telling, has done it again. And this time, his words have shaken Anton Daniels' world to its core. For years, Anton's marriage had been admired by fans and followers alike, celebrated as the picture of stability and love in the public eye. People often looked up to them as the perfect couple, supportive, successful, and seemingly unshakable. But behind closed doors, things were not as perfect as they appeared. Recently, Corey Holcomb made some shocking comments about Anton's personal life, comments that have sent waves through social media and left many wondering if Anton Daniels' marriage can ever survive this. In this video, we're going to take you through everything that happened, from the explosive revelations to the emotional aftermath, and show you why the situation is now being called a turning point in Anton's life. By the end of this story, you'll understand why Corey's words might have changed everything forever, and why fans can't stop talking about it. Anton Daniels had always been seen as a man who had it all. Successful in his career, admired for his charm and intelligence, he seemed to have built a life many could only dream of. Beside him, his spouse appeared equally remarkable, supportive, stylish, and loving, together creating an image of a marriage that seemed untouchable. To the outside world, there was no hint of trouble. Their social media posts and public appearances showed laughter, unity, and shared success. Yet, as often happens, appearances can be deceiving. Behind closed doors, small tensions had been building over time. Differences in priorities, disagreements over family matters, and the pressures of maintaining a public image. These private struggles were something only those closest to them could sense, but they remained hidden from the public eye. Enter Corey Holcomb, a man whose reputation for speaking blunt truths precedes him. Known for not sugarcoating anything, Corey has a way of exposing realities that others would rather keep private, and this time, he claimed to know details about Anton's life that could no longer stay quiet. Fans and followers were about to see a side of Anton Daniels that few had ever imagined, and the shock was just beginning. The tension began to rise when Corey Holcomb, in a recent interview, didn't hold back. Speaking with his usual blunt honesty, he revealed details about Anton Daniels' marriage that instantly caught the public's attention. According to Corey, what appeared to be a perfect union was far from it. Hidden disagreements, ongoing misunderstandings, and behaviors that Anton had kept private were now out in the open. He hinted at moments where Anton's spouse felt unsupported and shared anecdotes that suggested the couple's struggles had been brewing for some time. Fans were shocked. Social media erupted with comments, theories, and debates. Clips of Corey's statements spread rapidly, sparking heated discussions among followers who were once admirers of the couple's seemingly flawless life. Anton, for his part, remained silent at first, processing the sudden exposure of his personal life. But the damage was already done. The spouse, too, was visibly affected, navigating the emotional strain of private matters being dissected in public. What had once been quiet tension behind closed doors now became a public spectacle, leaving both Anton and his partner under immense pressure. It was clear to everyone watching that Corey's words had triggered a turning point, and the stability of Anton Daniels' marriage was now in serious jeopardy. As Corey Holcomb's statements spread like wildfire, Anton Daniels found himself under an unexpected spotlight, not for his career achievements, but for the private struggles of his marriage. Every social media platform seemed to have a piece of the story. Fans dissected every interaction, shared screenshots, and created endless discussions. Anton's spouse, once quiet and composed in public, now felt the emotional weight of these revelations deeply. Late-night arguments became frequent, fueled by frustration, misunderstanding, and the sense that their private life had been stolen and exposed to millions. Friends who tried to mediate found themselves walking a tightrope, knowing that any misstep could be misunderstood and publicized. One particularly tense evening, Anton and his spouse faced each other after a day of relentless public commentary. The discussion, which began as an attempt to address concerns, escalated into a raw confrontation where both expressed feelings of betrayal, hurt, and confusion. Anton's spouse admitted feeling unsupported in ways that Anton hadn't realized, while Anton confessed that the constant scrutiny made him defensive and closed off. The emotional intensity was palpable. Tears, raised voices, and moments of silence as each tried to process the weight of the situation. Outside, fans and critics speculated endlessly, turning their private pain into a public spectacle. By the end of the week, it became clear that this was no longer a passing conflict. The marriage had reached a critical point. Corey Holcomb's words, meant to reveal truths, had not just exposed tensions. They had forced Anton and his spouse to confront problems they could no longer avoid. Trust was shaken, the future uncertain, and the path forward became a delicate balance between repairing the relationship and acknowledging the realities that had been thrust into the spotlight. For Anton Daniels, what once felt like a stable and admired partnership now seemed fragile, and the turning point had irrevocably changed the course of his personal life. As Corey Holcomb's statements went viral, the pressure on Anton Daniels and his spouse intensified. Social media was buzzing with speculation, fans were divided, and even mainstream media picked up on the story, amplifying the tension. Behind the public eye, arguments began to surface between Anton and his spouse. Conversations that were once private were now fraught with mistrust and frustration. Friends close to the couple noticed the strain, observing the change in their demeanor and the subtle cracks appearing in their interactions. Anton tried to defend himself quietly, but the scrutiny was relentless. Every comment or action he made seemed to be judged, dissected, and shared online. Meanwhile, his spouse struggled to reconcile the public revelations with their private life, feeling hurt and questioning the foundation of their relationship. The situation reached a peak when a private disagreement, fueled by Corey's words, turned into a heated argument, leaving both parties emotionally drained. It was no longer just a rumor or a minor conflict. The marriage, once admired for its stability, now appeared fragile, teetering on the edge of a possible breakup. The turning point was undeniable. Corey Holcomb's blunt truth had not only exposed the couple's struggles, but had also brought them to a crossroads where tough decisions had to be made. The days following Corey Holcomb's revelations were intense for Anton Daniels and his spouse. Social media continued to buzz, with every comment, post, or photo analyzed and speculated upon. Fans were divided. Some sympathized with Anton, believing the scrutiny was unfair, while others sided with his spouse, arguing that the hidden issues revealed by Corey were signs of deeper problems. The couple, once celebrated as the perfect pair, now found themselves at the center of an online storm, where opinions and judgments came from every direction. Privately, the emotional toll was even heavier. Anton and his spouse had to navigate daily conversations that felt like walking on eggshells. Moments of silence were filled with tension, and even small disagreements escalated into serious confrontations because of the underlying stress and public pressure. Friends and family tried to offer support, but they were careful, knowing that anything shared could unintentionally fuel the media frenzy. In public appearances, the strain was visible. Smiles felt forced, and interactions seemed more cautious than before. Meanwhile, Corey's words continued to echo, making it clear that the revelations had lasting consequences. Even if Anton and his spouse tried to mend their relationship, the trust that had been shaken was difficult to restore. Every decision, every conversation carried the weight of public scrutiny, adding an extra layer of stress to an already fragile situation. What had started as a private struggle had turned into a public spectacle, leaving fans and followers watching closely, wondering if the marriage could survive or if this would be the beginning of a permanent separation. The fallout was undeniable. Corey Holcomb's intervention had not just stirred gossip, it had changed the trajectory of Anton Daniels' personal life forever. Corey Holcomb's revelation didn't just stir gossip, it highlighted a larger truth about the fragile nature of public relationships. While Anton Daniels' marriage had appeared perfect to the outside world, the situation showed how private struggles, when exposed, can create pressure that is difficult to manage. Corey's words carried weight because of his credibility and his fearless approach to speaking the truth. Fans and followers saw someone willing to reveal what others might ignore, and that made the impact even stronger. The story also reveals the challenges public figures face when their personal lives become intertwined with their public image. Anton and his spouse were not just navigating private issues, they were dealing with judgment from millions, and every misstep could be amplified. It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and even seemingly perfect relationships have complexities that outsiders may never fully understand. Corey's intervention forced Anton and his spouse to confront realities they may have avoided, creating a turning point that was both dramatic and necessary. For viewers, the takeaway is clear. Relationships require trust, communication, and privacy to thrive. And when external voices expose private tensions, it can accelerate crises in ways that are hard to reverse. Corey's role in this story serves as both a cautionary tale and a reflection on the influence of truth-tellers. Sometimes the truth can heal, but sometimes it can change lives forever. In the end, Corey Holcomb's bold words have left an undeniable mark on Anton Daniels' life. What once seemed like an unshakable marriage is now facing challenges that few could have imagined. Fans continue to watch closely, debating, sympathizing, and speculating about what will happen next. Anton and his spouse are at a crossroads. Whether they can rebuild trust and restore their relationship, or if the pressures of public scrutiny and personal conflict will lead them down separate paths, remains uncertain. This story serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly private matters can become public, and how influential voices, like Corey Holcomb's, can create ripple effects that change lives forever. The tension, the heartbreak, and the raw emotions revealed in this situation have captivated audiences because they reflect something universal. Relationships are complicated, and even those that look perfect from the outside are not immune to struggle. As we wait to see what unfolds, one thing is certain. Corey Holcomb's revelation has shifted the course of Anton Daniels' marriage in ways that cannot be undone. Fans are left with questions, speculation, and the hope that somehow the couple can find a way forward. But until then, the story continues. A dramatic reminder that truth, when exposed, can both illuminate and disrupt, forever changing the lives of those involved. In the aftermath of Corey Holcomb's revelation, Anton Daniels' life and marriage have entered uncharted territory. What once seemed like a stable, admired partnership is now clouded with uncertainty, tension, and public scrutiny. Every interaction between Anton and his spouse is now viewed through the lens of Corey's statements, making even ordinary conversations feel charged with meaning. The emotional weight is immense. Anton struggles with guilt, frustration, and the pressure of defending a personal life that has been exposed to millions, while his spouse wrestles with hurt, disappointment, and the fear that the marriage may not survive this public storm. Fans and followers remain captivated, analyzing every post, every comment, and every interview. Social media is ablaze with speculation. Some hope for reconciliation, others predict an inevitable split. The couple's private life has become a spectacle, and every step they take is under intense observation. For Anton, the challenge is not just mending a relationship, but doing so while under the microscope of the public eye, a pressure few can truly understand. Yet, amid the tension and uncertainty, there remains a glimmer of hope. Relationships are rarely linear, and the exposure of hidden truths, painful as it is, sometimes forces reflection and growth. Corey Holcomb's intervention, intentional or not, has forced Anton and his spouse to confront realities that may have been long ignored. The question now is whether they can navigate this crisis together, rebuild trust, and reclaim a sense of privacy and normalcy, or whether this turning point will ultimately mark the end of a chapter they once thought unbreakable. As viewers, we are left with a story that resonates beyond celebrity gossip. It is a reflection of how fragile relationships can be, how public pressure magnifies personal struggles, and how one person's bold words can ripple through lives in ways that cannot be undone. For Anton Daniels, every choice from this point forward carries the weight of public expectation, private emotion, and the undeniable truth that Corey Holcomb's revelation has forever changed the course of his marriage. The world watches, waiting to see if love and resilience can overcome this storm, or if this will be the beginning of a permanent fracture.